Story 25, The Alley by St. Matthew's Cemetery. The rain had just stopped when she turned the corner. The pavement still shimmered with puddles, reflecting the orange glow of the streetlights. It was her third night in Philadelphia and her first time walking home from the little Italian restaurant on Ashby Street that everyone in the neighborhood swore by. She had moved into her new apartment just a few days earlier, an old brownstone with tall ceilings and creaky floors, and tonight she finally felt like she was settling in. She carried a small takeout box, her breath misting in the cold autumn air. Her cat, Ivy, would be waiting in the window when she got home. That's when she saw the alley. It ran narrow and uneven between two buildings, one brick, one stone, and she hadn't noticed it before. On her left, the iron fence of St. Matthew's Cemetery loomed, its black spires tipped with rust. The headstones beyond leaned and listed like old teeth in the earth. A faint fog drifted low along the ground, spilling from the gravestones toward the alleyway. She didn't mean to look down there, but something caught her eye, a flicker of movement. At first, she thought it was just the steam from a vent or the reflection of the wet pavement. But then, through the half-light, she saw what looked like a figure standing near the far end of the alley, tall, still, and slightly turned toward her. Her footsteps slowed. The sound of traffic from the next street over seemed to fade. The figure didn't move. She blinked, looked again, and it was gone. Only darkness now, and the slow drip of rain from a fire escape above. She exhaled, gave a small, nervous laugh, and kept walking. Maybe it was just a shadow. Maybe someone cutting through toward the next block. The city was full of strangers and corners and reflections that fooled you. She told herself that over and over. When she reached her apartment, Ivy was waiting in the window, tail twitching. She locked the door, hung her coat, and set the takeout on the counter. The old radiators hissed and clanked. It felt good to be inside. Then, as she turned toward the living room, she heard something from outside, soft, rhythmic. Tap, tap, tap. Like footsteps on stone, slow and deliberate. She went to the window. The street was empty, only the cemetery across the way, half hidden behind the fence and trees. Ivy's fur stood up. The cat was staring not at the street, but at the alley, the one that ran beside her building, now barely visible through the narrow gap between streetlights. And there, for the briefest moment, she saw it again, a pale figure at the far end, standing where the light couldn't quite reach, watching. The next morning, she mentioned it to the landlord when he came to fix the kitchen light. The old man smiled thinly. "Ah," he said, "you're next to St. Matthew's. That alley used to be the old carriage path to the cemetery. They'd bring the coffins through there before the street was built up. Folks still hear things from time to time, see things too." That night, the woman kept her blinds closed. The city noises carried on, sirens, laughter, the rattle of trolleys. But sometimes, through the muffled hum of her apartment, she could still hear it, just faintly. Tap, tap, tap.